Hello and welcome to my presentation this evening. Sadly, I can't join you live, but I have recorded a video that I would have created along with you. Please feel free to leave comments below in the video and I will reply to the comments when I'm able to. This evening I'm going to be showing you another new product from the Annual Catalogue that has just recently launched. Inside page 108 and 109 we have the beautiful Hues of Happiness Collection. This suite includes a stamp set, the coordinating dies and these beautiful papers. Some samples over here. I'm basing tonight's card on one of these cards. I'm just taking my own stance on it. I'm going to start by using a sheet of our Granny Apple Green, and we'll score and cut this in half each way. So this way, with the long side at the top, I'm going to score this. With our A4, it is at 14.85. The Americans are 5.5 inches. And then this way, for A4, I'm cutting at 10.5 centimeters, or in Imperial, it's 4.25. So I only need one of those this evening. We'll score this in half. And there is our base card ready. The Hues of Happiness collection consists of this beautiful stamp set, Happiness Abounds, some beautiful fonts, and some lovely clear line images. And also our die set, which is probably easier to see on the photocopy here. 2 borders, a filigree piece like a trellis, and all the dies to cut out the leaves and the flower elements. The designer series papers have 2 each of the patterns I'm now going to show you. And all of the floral images on these 2 designs can be die cut, including the 2 leaf patterns, the 5 leaf and the 2 leaf. All of those can be cut out as well. I've counted that there are 33 full floral images on each of the pages. There are also 12 partial flowers that can be used, even though they have a straight edge, to be used on a liner or to layer up. And there are 21 full leaves that can be die cut from one sheet. Now we have 2 sheets of the lilacs and the turquoises with these stripes on the back. You have 2 sheets of the yellows through to the pinks and these shades on the back. This is the beautiful paper I'll be using this evening. All of the same colours coordinated through this sheet and the rainbow on the back. These are smaller flowers but in the same colour combinations, and the little flowers on the back, and this one are similar with lots of florals in there, beautiful florals, and some more rainbow colours. For my first stamping on this project, I'm going to be using a piece of our A4 vellum cut into quarters, so 1/4 of a sheet. And I have my little static bag for heat embossing. You can emboss without it, but it just gives that little bit of protection against static and embossing powders clinging where you don't really want it. My stamps are pre-mounted and I'm going to start with the largest image. When stamping with Versamark, it's a clear ink, so it'll be very difficult to see on the camera. We'll bring that piece up to the camera and see if you can actually see the pattern. In certain lights you can see. I also have a piece of our grid paper folded in half for the gold powder, because I'm going to sprinkle this onto here just over my image. This goes back into the pot. When you have your powder and your Versamark pad in close proximity, be sure not to get the particles in there. Now I'm going to be using my heat tool. It's away from the desk, away from the powders, and I'm just going to melt that in the powder on here. And this is the beautiful gold image when it's finished. Because my card is going to be covered in the centre, I'm only going to emboss around the outside. So I'll fast forward this video and you can catch me up later.
It started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together, you know it's all because everybody plays a part in doing what we love. You can bet it doesn't matter where you go. You find a friend who does just what they love and lets it show. One card at a time can really change the way we live. Focused on the sharing and the chance we have to give. You can do most anything, so just do what you love. Live it, share it, you know it's what you're dreaming of. What we love, what we do makes a difference in me and you. All these years of inspiration and love. Oh, how we live and what we say. It's Stampin' Up and it's our way to love, live and share it today. To love.
I love heat embossing. Look at all those gorgeous gold images around the edge of my card. Bringing back my base card, my piece of vellum, being the same size as this card, is slightly larger than I want it to be. So I'm going to take my trimmer and just take off a tiny piece of the edges. And then we have a small little border all the way around the outside edge. Any adhesives you use on your vellum will actually show through. So I'm going to place a couple of pieces on here where they're going to be hidden in the middle of my card. This is our tear and tape, and it does exactly what it says. Hold your nail against it and tear it. Remove the backing of those. And place the vellum over the top. So we know that's going to show through, but that's absolutely fine. My designer series paper this evening, I want this to be cut at 10.5 centimetres by 7 centimetres. If you watch my Facebook Live on Sunday evening, you will have seen a cutting layout that I shared. My piece of white is just going to be 0.5 centimetre or a 1/4 of an inch larger. So that's 11 centimetres by 7.5 centimetres. And inches, your matte layer, and just slightly larger. So this piece is now going to be matted onto here and fit centrally in the middle of that white card. And this will sit nicely in the centre there. I'm going to place this down flat on my card, but I'm going to be using the tear and tape again on all the edges here. With the vellum, it's a shiny surface, and so the Tombow takes that little bit longer to adhere, to grip. So the tear and tape in this instance is going to be better. I'll use the pricky end from my Take Your Pick tool to remove the backings. And there is my layer. Here I've laid out a few of the dies that actually cut out the images on our designer series paper. You have to be careful when you have another one that is adjacent to. You cannot cut two together when they overlap the dies. You have to wait until these ones are cut, and all of these ones will actually touch on the side there. So I'll cut this one later. So there are actually 6 dies that will cut out the images. So remember, I said on a whole sheet there are 33 full images, but I also cut these pieces around the side here, and I'll show you why. By cutting sections down to size and lining them up, I place some Scotch tape on here just to hold them in place, and can die cut my images. This is the mini cut and emboss machine that would work equally as well on a larger machine. The Scotch tape is repositionable and can be used several times, and there is my perfectly cut die cut image. Now that this image has been cut, I can now do these two and then repeat with this one.
Anything is possible. It started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together.
And remember, I said about using these corner pieces. We will line this up exactly the same.
It doesn't matter where you go. You find a friend who does just what they love and lets it show. One card at a time can really change the way we live. Focused on the sharing and the chance we have to.
For my card liner, I will use one of these corner pieces that has already got nice straight sides, and apply that in the corner. And I'll adhere that inside.
What we say, it's Stampin' Up and it's our way to love, live and share it today.
For my sentiment this evening, I'm using the Happy Birthday from the Happiness Abounds stamp set that we're using for this project. And inking up with my Versamark again onto a scrap of white card. I will cover that with the gold embossing powder. And heat with my heat tool.
You can do most anything, so just do what you love.
What I love about the Stampin' Up stamp sets, the Happy Birthday from here will coordinate lovely with the size of these fonts in the Sending Smiles stamp set. And in the dies, we have a couple of banners in here which will actually cut those greetings out. So I need the longer one today, but I can use these greetings with this die set. So I'm going to pop that on there. Being careful with the tall letters and the bottoms of the Y.
How we live, what we say, it's Stampin' Up and it's our way to love, live and share it.
So here is my finished embellishment. And as I bring my card back, all my layers on here are flat. So this will be on foam pads. And the mini Stampin' Dimensionals fit just perfectly.
Anything is possible. It started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together.
And I like my greeting to hang off the side. So on the bottom third of the card. Bringing back a few of my images on here, I like to work out where they're all going to sit.
Lets it show. One card at a time
This one will be sitting on here, just covering partially this image. But because this is raised, I would need some dimensionals around this corner.
It's so much more than stamps and ink. It's more than just a card you see. It's part of you, a part of me. It's creativity.
And also the leaves that we cut earlier can actually come out underneath here, just from the side. These can be flat or raised, whichever you prefer. I like to sometimes have the edges of the leaves up and the stalks flat.
It's what you're dreaming of.
So just be raised on the outside edge.
All these years of inspiration and love.
I actually quite like that one coming out of there.
It's our way to love, live, and share it today.
Okay, and we're nearly finished. So I'm leaving the stalk tucked behind and the bloom over the top of the sentiment. Camera just froze there, so I've just attached this last flower partially behind and partially over the top of the sentiment to take away some of the whiteness. Lastly, to complete the liner inside here, I have cleaned my stamp from the Versamark and I'm going to use the Memento Tuxedo Black ink and then stamp this into the center of my card. You could always do this before you attach it into the card and use your Stamparatus to get perfect placement. And there is my card finished. With a lot of gold embossing on my card, I'm not using any gems on here. I hope you've enjoyed my card this evening. Sorry I couldn't be with you live. Remember, you can still add comments below, and a reminder to click the like and subscribe button if you'd like to be notified of future videos as I release them. I'm here every Wednesday evening at 9 PM UK time and look forward to seeing you back here again soon. Bye for now.
Really changed the way